Hit it. All right, all right. You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. The preseason is over and the NFL has kicked off. I'm Spitface. Please welcome our host, the First Lady of Sports Talk and tennis enthusiast, Cheryl Smith. Good morning, First Lady.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, it was tough. I was watching the game, but I also wanted to watch the tennis match. I was flipping back and forth. All right.
All right. Okay. And were you watching the men's or the women's?
Oh, no, it was all about the women on Thursday night. It was all about the women.
Oh, it was all about the women's. Okay. All right. All right. Now, this week on Shout Out, we have performances from Lady Adrena. Will she find her shining star, get the cold feel of the mute button? First Lady, we're ready. What you saying?
Each week, we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Or they're trying to tell us something, so we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as the Super Bowl champion Eagles are flying high after a lightning delay and their best defender being ejected for spitting on Dak Prescott. The Eagles won 24-21 in a game that saw little defense on either side during the first half. Jalen Carter, with cameras everywhere, apparently got upset because Dak spit first and not on anyone. Was this a sucker move by the Cowboys quarterback? Given the closeness of the game, does this foretell the future for either team? George Foreman, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, both rest in peace. Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Well, I mean, this was the anticipated NFL season. I can't talk right now. Started last night. You know, we were just waiting for football. All the fans and everybody was waiting for football. And we had the game between the Super Bowl champs, the Eagles, and America's team. I guess they stole America's team, the Cowboys. But, you know, the game really didn't disappoint. Spitface. That first half, you know, it was great. But people are not talking about that game. They're talking about Jalen Carter spitting on Dak, even before the first snap. Oh, my goodness. I mean, what Carter did was foul and egregious. Now, you know, initially when it first happened, Spitface, I was saying to myself, what? This man spit on Dak? I mean, what the heck did Dak do? So, you know, initially they never showed what happened, but then you saw that Dak spit. Now, the question is, though, why was Jalen Carter close enough there? They was in their, you know, they was basically getting ready to huddle where they were, and Dak did spit, but I don't think he tried to spit on Carter, even though he had this sheepish smile on his face, though. It was kind of interesting when you go back and look at the video, you know. So, but what Carter specifically did was really, that was really horrible. And, you know, these players have to understand the NFL is showcasing their brand. They are definitely trying to get more women, even though women have really been engaged in the football season. But they, you know, you're reaching out to children. You know, everybody was waiting for this game. And I'm quite sure when he spit on Dak, the commiss, I know he was cringing. He was cringing when that happened. He, you know, he's in Brazil because of Friday's game between the Chiefs and the Chargers. So he wasn't even at that game. He's in Brazil. So you know he was closely watching, and he is very disappointed in Jalen Carter. And, you know, sportsmanship is always an important factor. because you're indicating to young people that you are supposed to be these heroes to them, and you're supposed to show sportsmanship, and spitting on a player is not showing sportsmanship. So I'm quite sure, the women watching, that's nasty, so you have all these eyes that you want to be watched. The NFL is always trying to improve their viewership. They're big on their flag football. That, they got the young people with the flag football. But it's just so much thing with the NFL that was not kosher what he did, okay? So you can guarantee he will be suspended at least one game, maybe two. We'll see. Now, the question will be whether or not he will be suspended for the next game. I think that's a dilemma for the commish, because the next game, guess what? It's against the team the Eagles beat in the Super Bowl 53. It's against the Chiefs, and it's at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. So that's going to be a well-watched game, and you would want both teams to be full staff, and you would want Jalen Carter to be playing in that particular game. But it may not be the way, what he did. I just don't see how they cannot suspend him. I mean, and usually when you get a suspension, it's right away. So we'll see. Now, in regards to the game, it was a close game. I don't think Carter's action will foretell the future for the Cowboys. Really, that ain't going to happen for the Cowboys. However, it could be problematic for the Eagles. As I explained, he will be suspended. It's just a matter of when. And also, I think the fact that what he did could have lingering effect on the Eagles and that particular player, Carter. Now he becomes a target for the rest to scrutinize his actions on the field. I mean, when you do something like that, you could rest assured that the league and the other, during other games, they're going to be really pinpointing on him what he's doing. So yeah, that's going to impact his ability to probably be aggressive. I just think it could have lingering effect. It's not going to impact the Cowboys, but I really think for the Eagles, it could have consequences of his actions. Now, the game itself, Spitface, it was a offense, I can't even say the word I want to say. It was an offensive showing, let's just put that, in the first half. It was 21-20 with the Eagles leading. I mean, it was a very fun game in the beginning of the first half. I mean, the second half became a defensive battle. I mean, the Eagles shut down the high-power Cowboys offense. Unfortunately, there was a 64-minute delay because of the weather. Wasn't because of the rain. Football players play in the rain, but unfortunately there were lightning. There, was bolts of lightning, so they had to delay it. And that was, I think it was 4 minutes left in the third quarter, and, teams came back out to play around 11:30 p.m. So that did have an impact on the second half. Now, Jalen Hurts, he had a very efficient game, very, very efficient game. He threw for 152 yards, and he went 19 for 23. He only missed 4 passes. And there's some issues, too, with who he was targeting. And I'll talk about that later. But he also rushed for 62 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns. Now, Dak, he wasn't as efficient. Dak was 12 for 34 with 188 yards. Now, C.D. Lamb had 110 yards. He had 110 receiving yards. However, he had 3 crucial drop passes that could have led to scores for the Cowboys. 3 crucial ones. And there was a fumble by the running back, Sanders. That also negated another potential score. So, when I look at this game, I would be encouraged if I'm the Cowboys fan. Believe it or not, Spitface, I would be encouraged because I really thought they played very well. I mean, you remember the pundits had them losing by 8 points, I think. It was 8 points, I believe. No, was it 8 points? I think it was 8. 8 or 4. I'm trying to remember. Was it 14 points? I think they had them losing by 2 touchdowns. It might be the 14 with 2 touchdowns. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, I think it was 2 touchdowns. And the team, I thought they were very well coached by Brian Schottenheimer. I thought they looked halfway decent. Like I said, if C.D. Lamb had caught some of them passes, I think, and they didn't have that crucial fumble, I think it would have been a different story, to be honest with you. Now, the Eagles, I don't know, even though Jalen Hurts had a very good, efficient game with his passing, I don't know what's going on with him and A.J. Brown. I don't understand how A.J. Brown could be targeted only one time, and it was like in the fourth quarter, and it was an 8-yard pass. And you remember A.J. Brown complained last year that he wasn't getting any targets. So, Devontae Smith, he had a few, but they have excellent wide receivers. So I don't understand why the Eagles are not using their wide receivers. I think to target A.J. Brown one time in the entire game, I was scratching my head on that one, Spitface. I didn't really understand that. So, I mean, I know, the Eagles like to pound the ball. Saquon Barkley, we so used to Saquon Barkley scoring over 100 yards. I think he only had about, 50-something yards. I don't know the exact numbers, but it wasn't significant, even though he did score a touchdown. But I'm just concerned with this A.J. Brown, because you remember, wasn't it A.J. Brown that was reading the book last year on the sideline? So it'll be interesting to see what book he's going to pull out this year, because, I mean, they need to give this man more targets. I mean, they got to give him more targets. But in overall, like I said, it was a very good game in the first half. It became slowed down in the second half. But I'm encouraged for the Cowboys. The Cowboys fans should be encouraged. I thought, considering that was Brian Schottenheimer's debut, I thought they looked halfway decent. All right, Spitface, what's your feelings regarding that game?
I'm glad that NFL football kicked off, and the first half of the game, I put it like this: there was a lot of nail biting going on, because it was, I think every time they either team touched the ball, they went downfield and scored something. So I do wonder if Jalen Carter hadn't got himself ejected from the game, would the Cowboys have been that effective during the first half. I think it definitely hurt the Eagles that they did not have them out there. When you got your maybe one of your best defenders, out of the game, and that just opened up the whole game plan for the Cowboys. So that what kind of has me be a little nervous about how well the Cowboys will do in the future. But I also know that the first game of the season, and the first game of the season, not too many teams come out and they're like super efficient. CeeDee Lamb has to drop balls that probably won't happen during the remainder of the season. Jalen Hurts not throwing to A.J. Brown. That's not gonna be how the season goes. But when you have someone as tough and strong as Hurts and Saquon Barkley, there's a tendency to for the coach to act like he's George Hallis. Now, you may say, because George Hallis was like, too many things could go wrong when you throw the ball. You know, the safest thing to do is put that ball in the hands of somebody who's gonna run it. You know, so you could kind of, because it's like, hey, look, I got Saquon, I got Hurts. We could just, if we could pound and run over you, that's what we're gonna do. And pretty much that's what you should do. If you can pound, if you can control the clock, run over a team, you do it. You do it. And you do have to get your receivers involved. You do. And because if you're using the philosophy that the run opens up the pass, you do have to pass. You have to implement that. So I think a lot of it was, this is just the first game of the season. And, the rematch in Big D will be interesting. I'll put it like that. The Cowboys know that they lost a tight game, but I'm just wondering, if there's something in that loss, because you got the Eagles' top defender was out the game, and I don't get that the Cowboys mounted much of a running game. They had I think they had one big play, but they running game that looked like it wasn't, other than I think a couple of plays, looked like they had some work to do. But I think a lot of it is, the first game jitters, the first game of the season. Offenses are quite together, defenses are quite together, and so there's that rounding out, so to speak, and actually getting in rhythm. Now, the Cowboys overall, maybe, I do not see that at the end of the season that they'll be in the playoffs. I do not see 3 teams coming out of the NFC East making it to the playoffs. And if only 2 make it, it's going to be Eagles and the Commanders. Those are going to be the 2 teams that make it. And as much as Dak has the stats, to me, he's still Tony Romo. He will get all the records, all the stats, but no Super Bowl ring. That I do not foretell that in his future. Now, I do think that they'll have a winning season and that they'll make the playoffs. Well, no, not that. I don't have it that they'll make the playoffs. They'll have a winning season, but I think only 2 teams are coming out of the East, and it's going to be the Eagles and the Commanders. I think the best is yet to come from the Eagles, and with Dallas having let go for whatever reason, the money just couldn't work for them to keep Micah. That's going to hurt them in the long run. That is going. You just don't. A player of that caliber, it's going to take more than a season for you to recover. And looking at the Dallas defense, which didn't have any players ejected, I'm going in with no second half adjustments got made. Dallas did stiffen up some, but I think again that it's the first game. Everybody's still sorting things out, but the Cowboys will be looking from the outside at the end of the season. That's what I'm saying, First Lady. And don't be spitting on your opponent.
I hear what you're saying. The Cowboys, it's the first game, and unfortunately, a lot of these players, didn't even play in the preseason games. They don't value preseason games as a way for players to get reps. Most of their reps are done during their practices, and they started those joint practices too, so that's where they can, showcase some of their talents against other teams. So it is the first game. The teams are very rusty. But I thought the Eagles were very efficient. I thought the Cowboys were very efficient in the first half. So the second half, obviously the rain delay impacted them. I mean, when you have a 64-minute delay, you got to get warmed back up, and that's a lot. That delay is a lot. So I think that attributed to some of the play in the second half, definitely. But again, I'm going to be encouraged for the Cowboys because, after they traded Micah Parsons, people thought that defense would be horrible. And in the second half, they held their own against the Eagles. Again, like I said, the Eagles didn't use a lot of their weapons. So, maybe they felt they didn't need it because, obviously everybody feels that the Cowboys can't stop a nosebleed when it comes to rushing. So that's why they continue to run the football in the second half. But we shall see, because next week for the Eagles will be a really big test because the Chiefs have loaded up offensively. They're going back to that high-power offense that they used to have in the past. That's what Andy Reid did, because last year he saw how the Eagles ran over them. He said, we got to fight power with power. So we'll see how the Eagles do next week. All right, Spitface, over to you.
All right, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting truckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering over the competition. I'm towering. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that'll all get sliced and diced. Competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out, huh? Mama said knock you out, huh? We are talking about the knockout punch to the start of the college coaching career of Big Bill Belichick at North Carolina. North Carolina was whipped by the Horned Frogs of Texas Christian University, 48-14, making it the largest defeat of Bill's coaching career. The last time Bill had a team lose this badly was when the Patriots got whipped by the Cowboys in a 35-point loss. Was this a case of Bill taking over a football program that didn't have a lot to work with, and he is simply facing the long slog of building a respectable program? Will Big Bill be back to the NFL in 2026? Will Big Bill simply hang it up and ride off to retirement? Leroy Satchel Page, Walter Buck Leonard, and James Cool Papa Bell are asking what you saying. First Lady, I'm sure that was a disappointing loss for Bill and for the North Carolina players. And I also look at it that fortunately, I'll just say that I don't get that North Carolina was like exactly overhyped, that they were going to come out and like gangbusters this college season. I think many people looked at North Carolina and said, hey, this program has not been a good program. And Bill just started. And in college football, the key is recruitment. Now, next season, when Bill has had a chance to really recruit, it might be a different story. And, but it takes a while for a college program to get turned around if they, because it's, the players. Who do you actually have to work with? It's not the NFL where you can make trades and draft picks and work it through and work it that way. It really is about recruitment, who you can get, and what you were left with before, you came into the team. So before Bill took over North Carolina, he's got the team that he was left to work with. And he couldn't make off-season moves that you can do in the NFL. Now, the thing I wonder about is that does Bill have the patience to deal with the long slog of building that program up? Because it may not be a 1 year. Younger coaches, the world has changed. So, but I do wonder if Bill might just say, you know, this college thing, it was interesting. I got to get my hands back, you know, in the world of coaching, which I love. But, you know, I like to win. And, you know, I want to be not only in the game, I want to be winning the game. And that might take a while. And I don't know if Big Bill has the patience for that when it's like, hey, look, this is going to take a couple of years to build. Maybe I just, you know, me and my girlfriend just, you know, roll off into the sunset, and handle it that way. So, First Lady, what you say?
Well, actually, Spitface, Bill did recruit. He had a very successful recruiting class this year. The thing is, though, he had several 4-star recruits, and the thing is, though, they're not really expected to do well this year. Those recruits are expected to do well next year. So that is the key there. And so he is in it for the long haul. I don't think he will go back to the NFL next year because of the fact that he did have a very successful recruiting class this year. And those recruits are going to, hopefully, they will perform well. And, you know, they'll get some play this year. And you have to understand the team that he inherited wasn't a great team. It really wasn't. Mac Brown was the coach, and Mac Brown was in his second stint of being the coach of the North Carolina program. You know, so that's why he was fired, because the program basically was mediocre. So that was the reason why they hired Bill Belichick. And, you know, everybody anticipated this performance. You know, his first game was highly anticipated. You know, here Bill Belichick being the greatest coach in NFL history. So, you know, they tried, you know, everybody anticipated what will he do in college. It was a disaster. I mean, you can say what you want, but it was it was a disaster. The thing though, what happened was, they got off to a good start. They scored the first, touchdown, and they was looking good. But after that, I believe the TCU reeled off 40-something points. So I mean, it was one of the worst whooping in the North Carolina history. So I mean, with that being said, I mean, do they have something to look forward to? I still think they do. Again, it takes a while for a new coach. And you have to understand, he is a new coach. Even though he has years of coaching experience in the NFL, he is new to the college arena coaching in the way in this new arena as it is now. So, you know, he's going to be able to use those recruits. And again, next year is going to be the key for him. If his recruits do not work out for next year, I would say that Bill Belichick project in college will be over. It'll be over, and he probably will return back to the NFL. But it was quite interesting. I think his coach. To be honest with you, it might be his coaching days could be over too, because he didn't get any calls except for I think Atlanta was the only call that he received, and so it'll be quite interesting to see what will happen with Bill if his recruits do not pan out next year. So this year is going to be a learning year. It's going to be a learning process. I don't think this team will be as bad as they were in that first game. So I truly don't think they will be. But again, this is just going to be a season of him getting accustomed to what needs to be done in the college game, and he'll regroup, and he'll be back next season with his many 4-star recruits. That's all I'm saying, Spitface.
All right, you say that there will be some maturity by Bill and his recruits. Okay, First Lady, you had the last word. Please take us to break.
Yeah, I agree with that, Spitface. It's just a matter of time before he can do what he needs to do. So we'll see. I'm having some trouble here with my program, Spitface. So can you take us to break?
All right. Okay. Stay tuned. Up next, we have a performance from Lady Adrena on Shout Out Power. Welcome back. The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Lady Adrena.
On Shout Out, we featured new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. On the first part of Shout Out, we are featuring music from Lady Adrena out of Jackson, Mississippi, and her hit album, Recipe for the Blues. All right, DJ, let's hear the title track from Blues Choose Me.
In
Adrena. And that's all about the blues, Spitface. So that's a down home blues song there. Now, because if you like the blues, I think she did everything you needed to have in a song for the blues. Yeah, down home blues. So I'm shouting it out. Spitface, you hitting the mute, or are you gonna hit or shout it out?
First lady, what can you do when the blues done chose you? I guess you got to go along with the ride. So yeah, I'm shouting it out. That track made me want to go to the juke joint and have a drink.
All right, 2 shout outs for Lady Adrena. On part 2 of Shadow, we'll be featuring another performance by Lady Adrena. Is that the sound of our favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It?
No one you see is smarter than me. And we live in a world of wonders. Lying there all day, I never see.
All right, it's time for Flip It. The college football season is in full swing, and the number 1 team, the Texas Longhorns, went down to defeat against the Ohio State Buckeyes. We wonder, is it time for the Longhorns to panic? Defend. It's their first game against an unusually underrated Ohio State team. They have plenty of time to right the ship, and they have Arch Manning hungry for a comeback. No need to panic. But First Lady, I'm looking at the Lonely Hornies, and I'm going, it's the first game. It's the first game. You don't need to, kick them to the curb already. And I do think that Texas was a little bit overhyped, so the fans are probably disappointed. But also I think Ohio State was a little bit underhyped. I'm like, whoa. Now Ohio State at the time was ranked number 3, but I'm going, why weren't they ranked number 1? I think the ranking was kind of a little bit off. And Ohio State is obviously a much better team than the pundits thought they would be. And a couple of other teams went down. Notre Dame. So I think the college football season, the way it started out, is just signaling that times have changed. The days when you had a team, the Alabamas that were going to just run over everybody and go undefeated for the entire season. With the portal and the transfer portal and the way the game is today, having a loss, even a loss at the beginning of the season against the top ranked team, you can rebound and come back. So be patient. Be patient. First Lady, defend. Longhorn fans need to chill. There's plenty of time. Don't panic.
You know what? It's his first game, like you said, Spitface. His first true start in his college career, and he started on the road against the national champion from last year. So, what did you expect? Did you expect Arch Manning to come out there and roll over Ohio State Buckeyes? No. It is difficult for any quarterback to have their first true road start of their college career against a difficult team. I mean, that's challenging, and to be on the road is really, really challenging for him. And, they have a great defense, the Ohio team. They met him with a strong defense. So Arch Manning, he did pretty good considering what was happening. I mean, he did well. He did 56.7% of his passes. He did throw for one interception. However, he had rushed for 38 yards. So I'm encouraged for him. Arch Manning is he's big, he's tall. He has the ability to control the game from the pocket. He has athleticism. He just was going up against a top-notch program. It's a top-notch program, and this kid has a lot of pressure on him. He has a lot of pressure on him, and the fans should be okay because guess what? They got a great favorable schedule for their next 3 consecutive home games. They play San Jose State, UTEP, and they play Sam Houston. So these are going to be opportunities that Manning can work out the kinks with his team, and he can build good momentum. And, it's one of those situations. That was a tough first game for him to be the starting quarterback on the road against the team that won the national championship the previous year. I mean, I don't think any quarterback could perform that well in a situation like that. That's just extremely rough. I don't know. The college people set that up like that. Maybe they needed to look at how they schedule Arch Manning. They did Arch Manning a disjustice of having him start his first road game against the Ohio State team. I mean, come on now. That's difficult to do. So I think he has a lot to look forward to because of the fact he is a big quarterback and he has that quarterback attitude. He has the quarterback body, and I think Arch Manning is going to be okay. That was just the first game, and it was the first game against a tough team. Couldn't ask for more.
All right. Okay, First Lady. Don't panic. Well, we're going to flip it. Longhorn fans need to break glass. Arch Manning was overhyped as well as the Longhorn program. First Lady, sometimes anticipation can get you in trouble. And the anticipation of the greatness that Arch Manning was supposed to bring, one, it put a lot of pressure on him as an individual player and the Longhorn program itself. Now, I give kudos to the Longhorns coach. He has turned that program around. They are definitely a competitive team. They are definitely a team that by the end of the season will have a good record and be in the college playoff. So I'm going to give them that. But they need to panic if they think it's going to be Arch Manning to the rescue. His Heisman stock, I mean, they were ready to just give him the Heisman before the first touch, before the first kickoff. He was the number one. Well, that has dropped considerably. And I think that Arch Manning's going to need a season to be seasoned. So this is really his learning year. His year where, hey, you got the keys to the car and you're going to now learn. Now, what helps them is that they have a schedule that I think they only have to play like 3 teams that are currently ranked. So they have I put it like this, they got a lot of teams where they can pad their record, which is good in one sense, but competition is what has you rise to the level. And if you're not playing competitive teams, you'll pad your stats, but when it starts being the big games, it'll show your real character. So, I'm going just, I do think that, the pontiffs, put art on a pedestal, and, the production will not equal the hype. First Lady defends. Arch proved just because his last name is Manning and he plays quarterback does not make him for the Longhorns women. Let the panic begin.
Yeah, well, his name is Manning, so there's high expectation when you have a last name of Manning and you have uncles like Peyton and what's the other brother name? I want to play for the Giants. I forgot his name. But anyway, he wasn't as great as his brother. But anyway, the point is people expect you to be a great quarterback. But they have to understand, just because his last name is Manning doesn't mean he's going to be like his uncle. He has very limited experience as against top-level competition, both in high school and, and when he was with, before the Ohio State game. He unfortunately, he was thrust into the position. He has a lot of pressure on him, a lot of pressure because of his last name. And this is some of the reason why his inability to handle this pressure. That's going to make him falter a lot under pressure because of the fact that he is expected to do a lot. So when you're expected to do a lot, you try to live up to that reputation. And unfortunately, he's not living up to that reputation in that first game. So his performance is really going to be really scrutinized. You have to also remember he got a lot of money because through the NIL, and that's a lot of financial impact. So all these pressures on him has caused him not to have a great performance. So I think if you're Texas fans, you do have to have some concern. The question is, can he handle the pressure as being a Manning? And, a lot of people felt he had a lot of mechanical issues, too. His footwork was not the best. And, unfortunately, he has a tendency to sidearm throw the ball, which causes a lot of issues with his velocity and accuracy. So he needs to work on a couple of things. And that pressure really is one of them. He's going to have to realize that he doesn't get an easy pass because his name is Manning. He's going to be scrutinized, and all of that it's going to be concerning, to be honest with you, to see how well he can do with all the hype, all the pressure, all the money he gets for his NIL contract. And it's going to be a struggle when you are in your first year of being really that starter. This is going to be very tough on this young man. And unfortunately, in that first game, he completed 17 of 30 passes for 170 yards, but he was off target on several of the throws. So he got to pull it together. And like we said, just because your name is Manning, don't mean you're going to be a fantastic quarterback. You got to prove us that you can be top notch like your uncle. That's all I'm saying, Spitface.
Yeah, and First Lady, he doesn't have to feel bad because Elijah Nelson Manning didn't win a Heisman either.
Eli.
But he did.
I sure did forget. That's why I forgot his name.
Elijah didn't win a Heisman, but he was third in the voting. So coming out of Ole Miss. All right, First Lady, over to you for more Flip It.
The NFL has made changes again. They changed the touchback rule where the ball is now placed on the 35-yard line in a move supposedly designed for player safety. We wonder, is this a good or bad change for the game? Spitface, defend. In the name of player safety, it's a good rule change. You have to protect the players. Defend.
First Lady, these players make a lot of money, which means that they are paid a lot of money. And you must protect your product. And the players make the game, but you got to protect them. And the days of kicking into the end zone and the player runs it out and gets smacked around, are over. And it does put pressure on the kicker to, now, have the ball be in the field of play so that the player, otherwise you get hit with the penalty. And that's a good thing because, one, it has the kickers raise their level of professionalism, and it protects the guys who do the run back from getting squatted. So, it's a good thing. It's enough of an adjustment where it doesn't take away from the game, and it gives them another level of protection. And the stats look like when they instituted where they put the ball on the 30-yard line, that did decrease the level of injuries during kickoffs. So if it did that, good thing for the game. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
All right. You think it's a good thing for the game. Yeah, anytime you reduce safety for players, it is a good thing. So, yeah, I mean, this rule change is part of that kickoff, what they call the dynamic kickoff. That's what is part of that dynamic kickoff rule that makes kickoff plays safer by eliminating it eliminates that high speed collision. That's what's supposed to happen, and they're supposed to expect further returns and more returns. Now, like you said, the stats have really shown that the experimental dynamic kickoff in 2024 did result in like 43% reduction in concussion rate on kickoff. So that's a good thing. That's the reason why it became a permanent change for 2025 this season, because of the fact that they will not have that many high speed collisions. And that results in a safer environment for players. And now with the fact that, moving the touchback from 30 to 35, it's going to, it's really going to make teams kicking teams to kick the ball into play rather than do a touchback. So when you have the kicking the ball in play, it's going to mean that there's going to be more returns. So, that's going to be good because now if you don't kick it in play, a touchback, that's going to automatically go to the 35-yard line. And if you're at the 35-yard line, man, you already in a good field position to really, you get your first down, you're at the 45-yard line of your own 45, so you're almost half field. So it is going to encourage more returns. So it is going to be a situation. The NFL is always trying to make this game safer for players. because they are the commodity. They the players are what the league is based off. And if you have players that are constantly being injured, having concussion, that is not good for the game. And we found that out, they did the study on concussion and all the problems with CDE. I might be saying it wrong, but that condition that is discovered upon death. So they're trying to avoid those type of severe injuries. And, so this is the reason why this rule is in place. And it was tried out last year with the dynamic kickoff, and that resulted in good statistics. So they're moving forward with everything they need to make sure that they protect their players. All right, let's flip it. Moving the ball from the 30 to the 35-yard line offers no extra protection. It just gives offenses more chances for great field position. Defend, Spitface.
First Lady, this change makes no sense. And the initial change with putting the ball on the 30, I think that was enough. That was enough. And now it's almost like you're penalizing the kickers. So is it going to become where you really need, instead of the kicker coming out, maybe you need the punt. You need punters who can do long kickoffs. And the kicker is the guy that comes in to kick extra points and to kick field goals. Because if you're trying to have the ball be in the field of play, then it seems like, hey, you're taking away from the kicker, but you need to now have a punter who can kick long punts, because they're the ones who have a level of expertise to get the ball inbounds and angle it and all that good stuff. So I don't see how it's already, with the ball being on the 30-yard line, that's enough of an incentive for the kickers to have the ball be in the field of play. The extra 5 is just giving the offenses more of an advantage. As you're at the 35-yard line, like you said, you need you get a first down. Hell, you almost in scoring position. So I don't get that extra 5 yards offers any extra protection as much as it just gives the offenses a better opportunity. To me, what they did was they slid in a way so that they could add more scoring, because they love to have more scoring in football games. So, hey, if you start on the 35-yard line, the opportunity for you to score, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, just got increased. So I don't get that this is doing anything for player protection, but everything to add to the scoring. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
What do you say? It's just adding to the score. Well, that's what the NFL is about, and that's what all these rule changes are about, is to add to the score. Like you said, they did move the chain. It used to be, the 25-yard line, and then they moved it to the 30-yard line. So they moving it now to the 35-yard. Is it really going to make changes as far as protecting players, though? Because now you're saying that you're moving to 35 yards, so it's going to incentivize teams to kick the ball in play. Well, when you're kicking the ball in play, does that make chances of players getting injured? So to me, it's like an oxymoron what they're talking about here. It don't make any sense. It really doesn't make sense. And it's really, it's not a natural thing regarding. You're tinkering with the game. just leave the game alone. There are some changes that need to be made, but now they're trying to get too cute with these changes. And it just is not making any sense because, it's going to increase scoring because, as you said, Spitface, you're not going to have a kicker because, the punters are good for kicking the ball inbound more so than a kicker, a natural place kicker. So the game doesn't need to be tinkered that much, but this game is, they started off at the 35-yard line. As I explained, it's making it too easy for people to score. We want to see football play with the way it's supposed to be played. Let it be a natural thing for them to be able to score because you're really trying to increase scoring. And we don't want that. Defense still matters. We understand they still got to play defense, but you're encouraging the offense to be able to score at a higher rate because of the fact that you're moving it to the 35-yard line. Like as I explained, you get one first down, you're at the 45-yard, you're almost almost at half field. And the way these kickers kick now, it'd be an easy target for them to get a field goal. So it's just not a natural thing. And 30 to me was better. Leave it at the 30-yard line. That to me would be better. And I just don't understand the purpose of it because it's not for safety because, again, you're increasing more teams. You're asking teams to kick inbound more to me, which is making it even easier for players to get injured. So I just think they're just doing too much. These commissioners and these committees are just doing too much. All right, Spitface, please take us to break.
Yeah, I'm glad that they didn't do anything with the tush push. On the other side of the break, we do not have a tush push. We have another performance from Lady Adrena on Shout Out Part 2. Please keep your ears glued to those speakers.
Welcome back. The music folks from around the globe to get a shout out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right. On the second part of shout out, we are featuring more blues from Lady Adrena. And First Lady, let's hear Good Girl, God Bad.
The little girl, I tried to follow the rules. I played in mommy's makeup. I even tasted daddy's booze. I used to sneak out the house to go and play with my friends. But that time I got caught, swore not to do it again. I'm just a good girl. Good girl gone bad. Ain't no turning me back now. I'm just a good girl gone bad. When I went to high school, my mom and dad were proud, but then I met this little boy that had my head in the car. I started missing my bus, I started skipping my class. We started smoking funny things that made us laugh. I'm just a good girl gone bad. Ain't no turning me back now. I'm just a good girl gone bad. I got my allowance and I went to the mall, but the friend I was with, she had no money at all. So we tried on some jeans to go without tops. On the way out the door, she said, run, there go the cops. I'm just a good girl gone bad. Ain't no turning me back now. I'm just a good girl gone bad. Come on, play the blues now. I'm just a good girl gone bad.
All right, good girl gone bad. First lady, what's the verdict? Is it getting a shout out of the mute button?
Oh, I'm definitely giving a shout out. I even like that. Good girl gone bad. I hear you, Lady Adrena. Definitely blues. She really brought the blues for us this morning, but I'm definitely going to shout it out.
Well, First Lady, I don't know how good a girl she was. Seems like she had a lot of bad girl in her from the beginning. I'm giving the track a shout out. But I'm like, yeah, your friends got you out in all that trouble. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, we need to. I want to talk to some of them friends. She might have been edging some of them friends on. All right, that is the end of shout out. You can check out Lady Adrena on the Old Grumpy Radio Network. If you would like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to talent@oldgrumpyradio.com.
All right. With the football season started, once again, we will start to have our NFL picks. All right, Spitface, what is your top story to watch this week?
Which teams will make the final cut as the regular baseball season ends? There's a couple of teams. Are they going to be wild cards, or are they going to be on the outside looking in?
Okay, well, of course, my top story is going to be, what type of punishment is Jalen Carter going to receive? That's going to be the top story to watch. You know, will the commish suspend him for the upcoming game, which is going to be really counterproductive considering that was going to be one of the great games. But anyway, we will see. All right, check out our current and previous episodes at Bras, Panties and Sports.com. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. See you next week.